Last night we had a very nice tea session with Ajahn, and on the way back to his kuti, I walked with him, and I made a comment that I thought it must be quite pleasant to have a couple of weeks of what I perceived as downtime. Not as many responsibilities as he holds in person at Amravati. I'm guessing that he's still getting emails and having to deal with things. And I was surprised, although probably shouldn't have been, by his answer, which was that he didn't really see it that way. He didn't see it as something where he was feeling anything particularly special around not having duties or having duties, and that it didn't really affect him very strongly in that way. And I was thinking about that amongst my earlier years with Ajahn, and as he's talked about here and recently, and then the earlier teachings he gave are just around not being perturbed by conditions and not setting oneself up in terms of I'm okay in a particular condition and not in another. I remember an early lesson he gave, we were bringing some very large concrete bags, walking them down from the road to the lower watershed, and he caught me kind of muttering to myself, okay, 3 more, 4 more, something like that. And he said, are you counting the bags? And I said, yeah. I said, well, if you want to hear a recommendation, I would suggest you don't do that. You're just going to set yourself up for always looking for conditions that are going to be better for you when something's finished or over, or you're no longer doing it, it's done. And I thought, well, it's just 3 more now, so I'm sure I'm going to be happier when it's down to 0. But that's a very good lesson, it's a very good point for us as we're thinking about Katina now. The Katina time usually was just a particular day in the monastery, now we've extended it. And it's easy to kind of have a sense of, oh, when this is over, it doesn't have to be so busy dealing with all these preparations, and in a week it'll be quiet again. And so we're setting ourselves up for those conditions that we think this is the way that I can practice more easily or in a better way, or this is the way that I can be peaceful when there's not that many people around. And so we're often trying to look at well, how are we positioning our own minds in particular ways that we perceive we won't suffer or we will suffer. And of course the Buddhist teachings continue to point to the fact that it doesn't matter the conditions. We're trying to be able to work with whatever condition there is. And in fact, that's what an arahant is able to do, is that it doesn't really matter. I mean, even to the point where we're trying not to give rise to hatred if somebody is sawing our limbs off, which is quite a high endeavor to think of being able to realize. And so people coming in and out, being busy, that's a little bit less concerning than our limbs coming off. But we can have a sense of also remembering that it's not just conditions of busyness or hard work that we're dealing with. We're also dealing with the positive aspects of people coming here out of generosity to say sadhu for what we're doing here, to be very happy and to really, in a way, congratulate our efforts and to say how happy they are for what it is that we're doing. And so we also can remind ourselves that even if there is suffering around conditions, there's also goodness there to be had. And so we are both moving beyond the conditions, trying not to be perturbed by them, but also reminding ourselves of all of the goodness that can come when we're not so easily seeing that, because we tend to set ourselves up against the negativity. So those are just some words of reflection around this time of Katina, and hopefully we can enjoy the presence of other people as they're coming here to enjoy our presence.